What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations. I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2020 podcast news and 2018 Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. And once a month, I host the only podcast or live stream in the world dedicated to men, not to men, to fathers and dads, that is sponsored by Dove Men Care. And it's also co-sponsored by Dad Central, Canada's national fatherhood organization. But it's not really about me. It's a little bit about me tonight. But I also have two other wonderful gentlemen talking about it's the man listen time. So it's a man listen time with Coach Danny Stone and Jeff A.D. Martin. What is up, everybody?
What's going on, brothers?
Mic check, 1, 2. What's going on?
That's how we started.
No, the real mic check is Jeff Martin, everybody, because he's speaking somewhere around the world every day. So he's the mic check.
Man. Blessed and highly favored, my friend. Just like
blessed, highly favored, magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. Always get fired up because this was one of my dreams for 2021, and we're going to be chatting about 2021 a little bit later. But well, you know what? I let Danny talk about what this is all about because last time he corrected me. So going forward, he's going to tell what Man Listen's all about. So Danny Stone, Coach Stone, talk it.
I correct you. I don't know. I just think this show is a men's perspective on, current topics, real world issues, mixed with a little bit of fun and some motivation to really help you supercharge your life. That's what it's really about. There's a lot of shows out there from a women's perspective, but we wanted to bring you a show from a men's perspective.
Ooh. And you know what? Ladies want to know what we're thinking about.
I'm sure they do, man. I'm sure they do.
Of course they do.
There's like 50 shows on for women's shows about women, women's perspective, but we don't get our chance. So this is our chance. Tune in, buckle up, everybody. It's going to be great.
Jeff, you're so quiet. What's been going on, man?
I'm good, man. It's been a fabulous week, a great start to 2021. Loving my family, loving the time that I can spend with them, loving the opportunities that are coming towards me. And yeah, as I said earlier, blessed and highly favored, man. Just, continues to push forward and just see what happens for the rest of the year.
Wow. Jeff and Danny have had outstanding starts personally and professionally to 2021. So I'm going to say right there, follow them on all their social media platforms because they will add light to your life or lives. So they are at the right place at the right time, doing the right things with the right intent. Just want to put it down there. Intent. Right intent is really, really key. And I want to say a big shout out already to Birdie Lynn from Tennessee. Thank you for your support. You're watching real time and people are already in the room. So folks, hey, give your comments. We're going to react in real time, but we are to appreciate your support. It's appreciated.
Something like that.
Yeah, I thought I got it out. Like I can't talk. I'm not big enough. I can't speak yet, so I can't speak to Indiana. So I'm just.
Come on now. You got joke. What it takes.
It's an inside joke. I received that. So let's get after that. Let's talk about some of the hot things that have been going on since we last spoke. So first thing up, gentlemen. They're calling it the Capitol riot, the storming of the U.S. Capitol building versus Black Lives, how it was handled compared to what Black Lives Matters protests have been handled. Who wants to chime in on that first?
Bruh, this is America. You know what I'm saying? What's his name that did the song that called This Is America?
What's Donald Glover?
Donald Glover. He was right. I mean, this is obvious, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, during the Black Lives Matters peaceful protests, the police were out in riot gear. They were out in force. They were arresting people. They were bullying people, intimidating people. And then you have these Trump supporters who storm the Capitol and they step out of, first of all, there's not enough police. And they knew that it was coming because they've been posting this online forever.
Yeah.
They knew it was coming. Trump in his speech said, this is what Trump said, we're going to walk down to the Capitol. So they knew all this was happening, not enough police. They stepped aside and let these people into the building. And unfortunately, one of the Capitol police officers got killed and there was a couple other people injured. So, you know, it's white privilege. It's everything that you think about when you think about, you know, the contrast between black people in America and white people in America.
Yeah, you know, if I can, you know, add to that as well, you're absolutely right. You could see the contrast between, you know, a lot of memes came out and they showed what the Capitol looked like when the Black Lives Matter protests were happening right in front of the building, and it looked like the army was right outside of the Capitol. And then you see this circumstance, and you have my man with his feet up on Pelosi's desk. You have the other dude who's like stealing the podium and puts it up on, I believe it was like Kijiji or you know, something like it is just polar opposites. And it's just a reflection of really, again, the world that we live in. And again, it is America, but we know that it's reflective, you know, around the world that people are treated differently. And although 2020 was huge with recognizing the racial indifferences and, you know, a lot of people trying to make change, it shows you that the indifferences still exist. And so we just got to continue to push and you know, do what we can do to try to equal the playing field, because there's a lot of people out there who are suffering. Like, you're watching from TV and it looks bananas, but on the other side of it, there are people out there who don't have money, who don't have resources, because things are not equal for everybody. And so it's just a reminder when you see the mess that happened over the last week.
Yeah. Bob, what did you think about
it? There's a number of perspectives I have on this. First of all, 45 today, because I don't say his name, 45 said he has no responsibility on what happened last week. Yeah. He had no responsibility. So, as I like to say, Teflon Don, as always. Second of all, how the people who disagreed with him in his party, they're disagreeing with the action, but not with him. If you listen to the way they're wording it, they're saying it was a terrible action, but they don't say he was part of the responsibility for it.
They're all a bunch of cowards, man. Straight up. They're cowards. They're so terrified of this guy. I really think he has a black book with all of these secrets, because there's no way that you can be afraid of one man who continues to destroy your country. Like, there has to be a point where you get a backbone. What does he have on these people, man? He must have some information.
No, he has 70 million people who like him.
Yeah, and so saying
unfortunately.
Unfortunately, but saying that as well, like, these people were quiet when Obama was in office, right? They got loud when Trump was in office. They may get quiet again when Biden is in his office.
No, they ain't gonna be quiet. Well, they ain't gonna be quiet.
My point being, though, is regardless if they're quiet or not, you know, people can't go back to sleep, right? We can't go back to sleep thinking, oh, racism is done, it's quiet. You know what I mean? Like, we have to remain in the forefront of trying to make change, again, as I said earlier, because ultimately, you know, if people do go back to sleep, then, you know, we know that those guys who are rebelling, who wants to see these racial changes, you know, they're still there. They still exist, and they still feed that information to their offspring, who's going to continue it on.
But the problem is they have to label these groups domestic terrorists. They're so afraid to call these people you're terrorists. Like, call them terrorists so the FBI can go after these people. They're so afraid to call these groups terrorists, man. Just call it what it is.
Yeah, I got some other perspectives. I think another thing too is a number of these individuals who went on the attack, they're not smart. Because why do you have your faces in plain view thinking that no one's going to recognize you?
The same thing.
No one's going to catch you. Like, they're riling them up. I was listening to NPR today in the States, and like, there's 70,000 people that have reported to the FBI about this, of different people. Now, the next question will be how severely they're going to get charged.
That's the question.
Right. Yes. Well, a lot of them have already lost their jobs or are going to lose their jobs, right? And so that's going to be, you know, a big shift into most of their lives, because they're not going to have a job to go back to. And if the FBI chooses to charge you a certain way, now you're on some type of really weird list, or you have these charges, a criminal record, and it's going to be difficult for a lot of them to get jobs again.
Well, we'll see, depending who's hiring, because you don't know what type of person is going to be in the hiring lane that may best approve of them. Just before we go any further, Serena Will says we have to stay woke at all times, no matter who's in office.
Stay woke.
Local good associate Kurt Henry says, Happy New Year's, fellas.
What's up, Kurt?
Bertie Lynn from Tennessee, no accountability.
Yeah.
Serena Wills saying last Wednesday was frightening. We were under a curfew starting at 6 p.m. in the DC. That's right. You live in the DC area.
Wow.
So that'd be interesting to get your perspective.
Yes.
Serena says, once again, having to talk to my 9-year-old son what has happened and the hatred in the world. That is terrible. And Brady Lynn says, yikes. And some other perspectives I want to think about is that what about that black policeman, Capitol policeman, who was running up the stairs,
and I heard
them back.
And I heard he led them the wrong way so that they could get out. The politicians could get out and secure the ballots and get out of there. So basically, he was taking them on a wild goose chase. Where was everybody else?
Well, but here's other things. I just heard today there was a policeman arrested today because there's a picture of him wearing a MAGA hat with some of the protesters. So do I hear the word? There was a movie called Inside Job.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. They were talking about that on the news that the FBI is quite certain that it was an inside job. And so a lot of people inside the Capitol and various police forces may be getting arrested because what happened was the protesters knew exactly where to go. And they were saying where Nancy Pelosi's office is very difficult to find. And then there was another black politician. I don't know if he was a senator or governor. He's one of the biggest, people who are against Trump. He has no name or no identification on his office whatsoever. And they went straight to his office.
Of course.
Wow.
Inside. Oh, yeah. We haven't heard. This is going to be going on for many years to come.
Right.
Many years to come. And I think it's going to. Now, the question is, we're broadcasting live on the 12th of January. There's still 7 days left.
Right.
Yeah, very true.
Something
very
tells
true.
me that January 20th may be another historic day in the American democracy, which is one other thing we want to catch on before we could talk about this one forever. But the whole phrase that this is not us, when Americans say that, what do you have to say to that statement?
This is not us. Well, I mean, this is not us. You can say that in so many different eras, right? This is not us. The fact that, black folks were enslaved, the fact that indigenous people were treated the way they were, the list can go on and on. This is not us. You can continue to say that, but this has been you. The record has shown it, decade after decade, people being treated unfairly. This has been you. So, when they say this is not us, I'm not sure who they're speaking about.
Danny?
I agree. Like, what era? When were you? When were you? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't claim the 60s, you don't claim the 70s, the 50s. Like, when were you? Right? Black, like Jeff said, there's still laws and legislation that doesn't acknowledge people as black people and certain people of color as being equal. What are you talking about in 2021? So when are you yourself then?
Great question.
I think it's really, really interesting that that there are still some states in America where lynching is legal. What does that tell you?
Yeah.
People need to wake up, man. Seriously, the U.S. is at a point where it could be on the brink of another civil war, and people need to pay attention. A lot of people have access to weapons and these underground methods to organize themselves. People need to pay attention to what's going on.
I hear you.
Like Serena said, we got to stay woke, right? And what she said earlier about talking to her son yet again, that might be another conversation because I've had to have conversations with my children over and over and over again about different things. And so that might be something we need to touch on in the future.
I'm thinking we may do a segment about talking to your children about racism and maybe inviting Serena on for that segment.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that'd be a really good idea. Two quick things before we go on to our next conversation topic. Yes, I'm right across the bridge in Northern Virginia. The streets were so quiet after the curfew, you could hear a pin drop. Watching the news, knowing this was happening right across the bridge was scary, disheartening, and also made me angry. Yeah. And then we'll close off this section with this quote by W.E.B. Du Bois. Either America will destroy ignorance or ignorance will destroy the United States.
Facts.
Right there. Don't need to say anything else.
Love it.
Let's move on to the next subject. Again, 45, but I don't think we'll spend as long. 45 is now banned from Twitter, Facebook, all these platforms, and he's upset. Are you?
I mean, maybe MySpace will allow him to jump in, or I don't know if Black Planet still. I mean, he's not black. But Black Planet. I mean, maybe Orange Planet. You know what I mean? I know those. I know I'm aging myself when I say Black Planet. You know what I mean? But he's got to go old school if he wants to jump on social media, because he's worn out his welcome.
There was another platform that was filled with a lot of Trump supporters. They banned that. What's
Parler.
that? Parler. Yeah, they banned Parler.
Yeah, they basically, Amazon has taken them off their server.
And Google's taking them off. Like you can't get it anywhere. You can't even download it, right? So, I mean, why are we surprised? Again, Twitter, all these social media platforms are cowards anyway. He's been speaking this divisive language since day one. So now you finally, it's at the end. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you go into a club and the bouncer says, so the manager says, kick this guy out of the club. And the bouncer's so scared to kick you out. He waits till it's 5 minutes to 2, and he's like, okay, you got to go. You're like, bro, the lights are on now. There's no point. I'll walk out of here now because the lights are on. Don't come to me when the lights are on at the club and act like you're putting me out. I'm walking out. That's what they're doing to Trump right now. Come on, bro.
So let me ask, what impact does it have on the whole concept of free speech in social media?
But free speech has been a tricky thing to begin with, and that's the problem with a lot of these platforms. They decide what free speech is and then what hate speech is and all those types of things, right? Right now, there's some people who are on some of these platforms, like, for instance, Farrakhan. They keep banning him. They keep banning all these other leaders. So who decides that that's hate speech? Yet you have all these other, white supremacist groups out here flourishing on all these social media. So, you know what I'm saying? Who decides that? Because it's very objective or subjective.
Right.
You're absolutely right.
Just catching up on the comments because they're fast and furious here. Birdie Lynn, just going on what Serena said. We said that in a women's conversation. Black women raise intelligent Black men.
Yes, you do.
She also says Black women raise law-abiding citizens. Serena Wills is up for the invite. Would love to be on with you, brother. So here we go.
Let's do it.
Serena, facts, truth. Birdie Lynn, we feel attacked. LOL, the USA us.
I hear you.
We got love for the US for sure.
Yes, we do. Preparedness. Things are just flying in. So we won't spend that long on that, but I think that may be another conversation topic we need to have about the whole aspect of who has free speech, because I know a gentleman on another platform, he got banned from YouTube for a few days because he said a Malcolm X quote that YouTube thought was divisive.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Again, who makes the rules, as Danny said, right? That's interesting.
And a lot of times with these major platforms, I'm just going to put it out there, the people who make those decisions of content distributors aren't us. I'll leave it at that.
Very true. Silicon Valley is I don't have the numbers in front of me, but yes, I've heard many times over that Silicon Valley oftentimes is highly populated with white men.
It is.
Very, very little people of color, very little women. Yeah. And so, if your mind frame and your thinking is coming from one direction, then you're not going to think about anything else. So that's a very good point.
Okay. Let's move on to our next conversation piece. While many of us are having challenges during the pandemic, Elon Musk isn't. Last week, he became the richest man in the world. He is now worth, 189, almost 190 billion. So you keep on hearing about the name Jeff Bezos of Amazon. Well, Elon Musk is in that category now. I'm just going, what?
So I'm looking at that number right there, and if I ask to borrow that 0.7, you know what I'm saying? He's not going to miss that 0.7. He can keep that 189. Just break out that 0.7. You know, I just need half of that 0.7. You know what I'm saying? Hey, listen, man. You know, kudos to him in the sense of, you know, just allowing his imagination to run. You know, the truth is that the world is moving in a direction of trying to be clean, so to speak, and so. With him making and leading the area of electric cars, he has stepped into a space that wasn't really tapped before him, just as far as I understand. And so he's created something that's phenomenal, that's really changing the world. So, you know, what I love is that, it comes from his ideas. And it just shows me, and it's a reminder to me that anyone who's made it, whether it be through wealth, through whatever type of success you want to say, it's always come from their imagination. Your favorite artist, your favorite movie, it's all come from someone's imagination. The person who invented the pencil, the person who invented the light, whatever it is, it's through imagination. He's been able to capitalize on his imagination and make billions. And so it's a reminder to me, like I tell my kids all the time, ABC, always be creating, because you never know what your mind, your imagination
can do. There you go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love this comment. I just need no
just a little bit, right? Just a little bit, Serena.
Also, gentlemen, yes, Jermaine says, I just need 50K. LOL.
Right, Jay. Absolutely, Jay. Just a little bit.
Tax-free pennies.
Serena Wills, tax-free 50K. You know what? I give it to Elon Musk, but it just shows the wealth gap, right? He don't need that money to live. And again, I don't know hopefully he's giving some of it away at such. I know a few years ago, Jeff Bezos gave some stuff away, and then him and his wife separated, and she's given a lot of her wealth away also. It's just like, and hey, a lot of people thought Elon Musk was a crazy man talking about electric cars and all that. He put out electric cars. Look at how many, was it GE or something? Is now doing electric vans. In the next few years, you're going to see like FedEx, UPS, all their vans are going to be electric. Who started that idea? Elon Musk.
Well, I think there's a couple of things here. The first thing is Elon Musk tackled an industry that didn't want to change. He came after the car industry. There was electric car designs around for like 30, 40 years.
Yes.
But the car industry was in bed with the oil and gas industry, and they didn't want it to change. So you have to think about this. And this is a lesson. When you're creative and you find something that you're passionate about, he's passionate about saving the environment. He doesn't just have electric cars. He has, he's in the solar panel industry and doing all these other things. You know, he's trying to,
space
is another challenge. He started PayPal, which is one of the biggest online payment systems in the world. But with the electric cars, here's what you got to understand, and this is what people don't know. It's like you got to go all in with your goal and your dream. Like one man was up against the whole oil and gas and car industry. Like he had to get laws changed. He had to do all of these things, right, in order to do that. And he went up against conglomerates like $1 trillion industry. So my point is, like, when you find something and people tell you, no, that's dumb. No, you can't do that. You got to stay dedicated to the cause, right? Because look at all of the things that he had to break through just to get to this point. Mm-hmm. And he's here. He's the richest man on earth. And there's not even that many electric cars out here.
No,
that's the crazy thing about it. It's not like every other car is an electric car. Right. There's like 0.1% of electric cars on the street, and this guy's already the richest person in the world from a dream and an idea and basically a pilot project. That's crazy, man. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
He exemplifies one of the terms I always like: when the dream is big, the facts don't matter.
I like that. Yeah. Right? Yep.
When the dream is big, the facts don't matter.
But guys, look at this though. Look at the two of the wealthiest people in the world, right? Jeff Bezos, who has a product to serve everybody that anybody can afford. Anybody can order something on Amazon. You could order a toothbrush on Amazon. And then you have this, the other extreme which is Elon Musk, and you know, these Teslas are very expensive, right? So you have both ends of the spectrum. You can order anything on Amazon to a Tesla that starts at about 60, 70, 75,000 Canadian, right? And they're the two wealthiest men in the world with at the both ends of the spectrum. A really low ticket, low point of entry, and something that's extremely high. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of interesting to me.
And I also think both their platforms are reliant on technology.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Which is where the world is, right? And where we continue to go. And we know that, of course, being stuck at the house in COVID, there's a lot more of this going on. It's technology. One of the things I do love about Elon is that in the process of building the electric car, there was, to what I understand with the story, is that there was a time that he was stuck and he needed some type of assistance with trying to get over a certain hurdle, trying to get it going. And so he opened up basically the blueprint, so to speak, to say, hey, this is what I've had so far, and I'm stuck in this area. Can anybody help? So it wasn't about trying to keep the secret from the world. It's like, okay, guys, this is what I have so far. Who can come in and make the second piece, the transition to make this bigger? So again, it wasn't about holding it back or keeping his resources. He shared it with the world. So yeah, they say that he's kind of crazy. You know, I don't know him personally, of course, but you know, the fact that he was willing to open it up and share, it shows that he recognizes that moving this whole thing forward, moving this needle forward, it's bigger than just him. It's about making the world better and cleaner as well, right? We saw with the lockdown of COVID, there was, the Nile in Italy, there was fish swimming down it. They haven't swam down there in years, right? There was animals creeping out and showing their faces in regular, spaces that they're typically not around. They're not in, because we as human beings have polluted the area so much. So, hey, I say hats off to these electric cars. It helps to clean the environment. And he's getting paid by doing so.
There you go. Bertie Lynn says, we're the next shopping platform. Black Business Unite. That'll be a whole segment one day.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
That'll be a whole. And also want to shout out to Nicole Waldron, who's chiming in, and others. So yeah, comments, keep them going, folks. Keep them going. We're flying fast. Keep them coming. Next up, this thing called Bitcoin.
Bitcoin's crazy, man.
Like,
I think Bitcoin came out maybe 10 years ago, and I remember hearing about Bitcoin I think it was 10 years ago. One of my friends was like, he was up on it, man. He was like, yo, you got to invest in this thing. It's only $50 or $100, a couple $100. And I was like, nah, man. And next thing I know, it's creeping up. And then literally in the last 6-7 months, it shot up by 15, 20 grand. It's crazy, man. But the thing that I found out about Bitcoin, it's not just an it's not just an alternative coin. It's not like they can just push a button and make more. So the person who created Bitcoin, the reason why, gold is the value that it is, because people actually have to go and mine the gold and dig it up. Well, Bitcoin is the same. You can't just automatically create more Bitcoin. So, when you hear Bitcoin mining, and that's what it is, you actually have to, I think they said it costs about $800 just to mine a little bit of Bitcoin.
wow.
So that's why it's valuable. And there's only, I think, 21 million Bitcoins in existence.
Limited supply.
So it's a limited supply, and it's not central to anywhere, right? And that's why the governments don't like it, because they can't control Bitcoin. You can't go to one country, one location, and say, we're going to turn off Bitcoin, right? You can't do it. And so that's why, people love Bitcoin. The government has no control over it. Yep. They don't know that you have it, because there's a secret wallet that no one even knows that you have this thing. And you can buy houses on this. You can buy cars. A lot more businesses are accepting Bitcoin. So, 50,000 Canadian dollars for one Bitcoin, man. It's amazing.
See, every time I hear Danny speak about Bitcoin, I learn a little bit more, because this is not my lane. You know what I'm saying? This is not my lane. I'm in between putting my money under a mattress and stock investments. You know what I'm saying? I'm somewhere in between there.
Where you live at again? What's your address?
I live at Elon Musk's house. Yeah, for sure. This year is not my lane. I'm into stock investments, so I have to talk about that another time. But yeah, it is crazy how I do remember hearing about this a couple of years ago, this Bitcoin thing. What's that? And then, I personally have ignored it. And so a lot of people have. And so I'm looking at the numbers now and I'm like, ooh, if I jumped in when it was at the time when it first started, who knows where things would have been. So, again, it's just another opportunity for people to learn, another opportunity for people to invest and create their own wealth. And for me, that's what it comes down to. Can you create your own wealth, whichever way you want to do that, without having to rely on somebody else to pay you? Meaning, like, you don't have to get up every morning to get to go to that job with that manager that you can't stand, or you're smarter than, right? Like, it's about building that wealth, building that family legacy, so to speak, so you can leave something behind for your kids, create something for your community, and make your life better as well. So whether it be stock investment, whether it be Bitcoin, there's opportunities, and we have to look at them and take advantage of them.
Yeah, I'll jump onto that. I think when it comes to Bitcoin and a lot of people, when it comes to finances, it's the 80-20 rule. 20% of the people are plugged in, 80% of the people are not. Yeah. That's what it's down to. And creating, let's call it bottom line. We live in a capitalistic system before we live in a democracy. Those who have wealth don't have to worry about jobs and things like that. They have less stress in their lives. So even if you're just starting out on the wealth path, take that 20% and become 21%, make it 22%, and even just a knowledge of it will help you, because look, I listen to the stock market every day. What's going on in the stock market? Like it or not, folks, what's going on in the stock market affects each one of us. Even if you don't have stocks, I encourage you, listen to the stock market reports, because they're predicting your future. Whether you like it or not, they're predicting your future. So even if you don't have stocks, if the oil price goes up 10, 15 cents, remember, if oil goes up, everything goes up, not just your gas.
Right.
Because remember, how does food get to a store? It don't get there by train. Trucks got to deliver it. Right. How does the food get to the food depot? Through trains and trucks. What do they run on? They don't run on water. They don't run on electricity yet. They run on gas.
And I think we have to understand investments. And if you don't know, then get to know. There's so much information out there. I wanted to know more about investments, so I started a small Black investment group, right? Just a small group of people who share information. I wanted to know more about Bitcoin. One of my friends started a Black Black altcoin group, and that's how I found out about Bitcoin and all these other coins. So if you don't know something, go and find out. And we're so far behind when it comes to investment knowledge and information. We really need to catch up as Black people.
I love what Bertie Lynn just said. Freedom in knowledge. Yeah. It's a powerful statement, Bertie. Freedom in knowledge.
Knowledge can change your life.
Yep. Jeff, anything else you want to say on this one before we exit out on it?
Again, as I said earlier, and I'll just echo what Danny said, it's important that you educate yourself on what's going on out there, because there's opportunities that are there. And, you're looking at Bitcoin now and saying 50 grand, I can't buy into that. But there's so many options to buy into other things that are going to be the next crypto or the next Tesla stock, the next Amazon stock. It takes some research, but when you do your research, you can get in early and then watch it go up. There's always opportunity out there. We look back and we always say, oh, I wish I invested in Amazon or Microsoft back in the day. Well, that next Amazon or that next Microsoft or next Tesla is starting now. And so educate yourself, read, find out, like we talked about, where's the world going? Electric, 5G, whatever it might be. And then consider certain companies and maybe investing in those. And before you know it, you're going to see your money rise. But start today. Educate yourself. Knowledge is freedom.
Yeah, I think I encourage people, even at the low end, 2 easy things you can start with. Just buy a few dollars worth of stock. And the other thing is get life insurance. Another segment, another time.
Definitely.
So let's move on to another conversation. And just to get back, Nicole is asking about Elon Musk. Did he make most of his money through the space program? No. He had bank long before he was putting things in space.
Oh, PayPal's been around for 20 some years. They started PayPal.
He started PayPal, so that's where he got his foundation. As you see, he got good at something and he created other opportunities for himself. He didn't stay still.
That's right.
He didn't stay still. He didn't count on what he says, what's the next thing I can take opportunity with? So that's Elon Musk. Last of our what's going on section, vaccinations. Oh boy. Who wants to start on that one?
I mean, vaccinations have been controversial for a very long time, especially amongst Black people, right? I think it was Robert De Niro and one of the governors, U.S. governors, they were going after the pharmaceutical companies because Robert De Niro was saying that, some of these vaccinations in children cause autism and all that kind of stuff. And they were going to these companies saying they want to know what is in the vaccinations, right? And so this isn't a new conversation. This is, and then the Tuskegee experiment, injecting Black people with syphilis back in the day, and so it's no wonder that a lot of people don't really trust, this vaccination. So I think that's part of it, and the other part of it is like it's hard to trust. It's hard to trust the government. It's hard for a lot of people to know. Do they have our best interests at heart? There's not enough studies done with this thing because everything was just rushed and heightened, and so they don't have a lot of research and data. So I definitely understand why people are really hesitant about getting this vaccination. I can definitely understand that. I've had family members who've already taken the vaccination.
Oh, okay.
Because they're frontline healthcare workers, and it was optional for all three of them, but they struggled with the decision, and ultimately, all three of them decided to get the vaccinations. So, I don't know. What do you guys think about it?
Yeah, I would echo exactly what you said, Danny. And one of our co-authors, Danny, in our book New Me, Dr. Joseph, he took the vaccine. He's a doctor out in Minnesota, frontline in terms of getting things done in the hospital. And so he's taking it. He's posting on social media, and I see stars today, and he's like, no, but seriously, I'm doing well. He'll post again and be like, I'm outside walking around naked. He's like, no, but seriously, I'm doing okay.
You're cracking a lot of jokes, man. It's not helping the cause.
It's not helping the cause.
That's not making it a good thing, man.
Right, but he seems to be doing well, and at the end of the day, again, as Danny said, there's been a lot of mistrust when it comes to the government. Do they really have our best interests at heart? Danny said again, we know how fast this thing has come out. This vaccine has come out, and people, they want to ensure that they're safe. And so, I'm okay with waiting to ensure that anything goes inside my body or anybody I love, that it's not going to take them out. It's not going to kill them. It's not going to have long-term effects. So I'm okay with waiting just to kind of see what's going on. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'll piggyback. I'm fine with waiting too, but here's my question. At the rate that they found a vaccine for this, what's taking cancer so long?
Exactly.
Just a thought.
No, that crossed my mind too.
Just a thought.
Right.
Serena Wills. I have underlying conditions and I'm not in a rush. I need more rounds to go out there. Studies in Lyme disease community. The verdict is still out whether we trust this vaccination or not. Not Natalia Bailey. Nope. She's hardcore. Nope.
I feel you, sister.
She says, she is saying, I draw the line. They ain't putting no needles in me. Ain't gonna do that. Ain't going for that. Okay, so we'll keep a walk on that. I have a feeling we're going to revisit that conversation throughout the next few months as developments go on. I just want to get an update again. Mr. Elon Musk is popular. Kurt Walker is updating and saying, actually, Tesla was funded by $5 billion in government subsidies.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So again, he knows how to negotiate, comes with some leverage at the table. He says government helps who they choose.
True.
And then he says, major corporate scratch politicians' backs, and politicians again scratch theirs. That's why I say we live in a capitalistic system. It is not a democracy, folks.
No, but what that also speaks to is when you are when you have so much conviction in what you're doing, you can get other people on board with what you're doing, right? Like he was the government will give
proof. But the thing too, he's also proof, because look what he did. He started that PayPal, so he came with proof,
right?
And he can he can deliver the goods,
right.
And then someone says, "What if I get stock shares in Moderna?" So you don't want to take the vaccine, but you want to get the stocks.
Yep, you got that right.
There we go. Well, folks, that's what's been going on. A little bit of what's going on. We're gonna land on our next section tonight, our Let's Go Deep session, and how to make 2021 better than 2020. Who wants to lead on that one?
So I can jump in. So when it comes to looking back at my year 2020 and how heavy it was and the things we all had to deal with, I really appreciate the fact that one of the things I was able to become awakened to was just being in the moment, appreciating each and every moment. And I think I said this on the last episode, that because we were forced to slow down, I feel like I literally watched my children get taller. I watched them get older, as opposed to, you see a family friend, they're like, "Oh, your son's gotten tall." And you're like, "Really? He has? I haven't really noticed," because I'm always moving. So one of the things I'm taking into 2021 for me is to slow down, take every day as it comes. Trust me, I'm busy. A lot of things are happening. However, I'm appreciating every single day as it comes. And so I think if we, collectively learn to slow down, we can see every day for what it is. Like, I see the sun go up and I pause and I take a moment to watch it. I see the sun come down and I pause. We got a bird feeder in our backyard, and you have the white snow out there and the contrast of the beautiful red cardinal. We had a blue jay the other day. I got a post on social media. Beautiful, right? The blue jay and the cardinal sitting on the tree with a contrasting white in the back. Like, I'm standing there and I'm taking a moment to take that in, right? I'm being still in the moment. I'm appreciating the moment instead of just jumping ahead of what do I got going on tomorrow or next week. Slowing things down. For me, that's one of the things I will be doing in 2021 to make it better.
No, that's great, man. Yeah, I think for me in 2020, it was just really getting more clarity about what I wanted to kind of create in my life and the type of life that I wanted to create. And that meant probably mending some relationships that kind of had been severed over the years, reconnecting with some people, putting some distance between me and other people. I think for me, it was just really about protecting my energy and not being apologetic for not trying to be there for everybody like I always have been. I think for me, I try to be a good friend and I'm always, there for people. But sometimes people need to be just left alone to figure things out on their own, right? It's like you've been giving someone the same advice for 5, 6, 7 years, and you're beating your head against the wall trying to say, why don't they just get this? And so I just stepped back from some of those people and some of those relationships. And then some of the ones that, had kind of fallen apart over the last years, kind of mended some of those. And what I realized is that there's nothing wrong with putting yourself first and putting your own needs first and getting focused on what you want. And not everybody's going to understand that. And that's okay. Not everybody should understand that you ain't got time to go hang out all the time, or you ain't got time to, be on Zoom calls for 2 hours to hear them complain. Right. So that's what I learned. And so this year for me, 2020, my word is magnetic. I want to attract the right opportunities, the right experiences, the right people. And it's already happening. So that's all I can say about that.
Serena Wills is saying, yes, being more mindful, being way more present. I want that to continue in 2021 and beyond for me personally. Good stuff.
That's great.
For me, 2020 was fabulous, and more fabulous than not fabulous. Great opportunities. But I did realize that there are a number of people around me that, how could I say, the relationships took a dip. There's a number of people I know who are in either bad relationships or no longer in relationships. And I made myself available to a point to them. But I said, you know what? I'm not going to, I can't be their savior. I can help them, but they've got to do a little bit of helping of themselves. Met some wonderful people who have amplified me to another level. And being clarity has been the big word for me last year, and also a big word for me this year in regards to clarity. And as I said, I've said it a few times before, but I keep on repeating it because I've got to tell myself, I've got to hear it myself, that when I say it, that clarity in what I do, what I think, who I'm with, in my relationships. I think I'm in one of the parts of my journey that I'm comfortable at the moment. It could change in 2 minutes where my relationships are right now, comfortable with family, comfortable with the small circle of people I have. I have 2 or 3 people that know everything good and everything bad about me, and seizing opportunity. I think the other day I was actually on a group session with Les Brown, and he said recession brings resilience.
Recession brings
resilience. It does.
And my resilience level has gone up a level because I've taken the adversity and I've proven myself, I can get through this. And whenever I have a challenge, I want to say, well, look where I've come from, what I've been through, and I'm still here and I'm still prospering. So I want to have clarity. I want to have wins, and I want to amplify my resilience. If I can amplify those 3 words in my journey in 2021, I'm going to be fine. And those around me are going to get better too.
I think it was last night. I'm all confused. Last night I just did a Instagram live on this last
night, Stone. Last night I got to keep an eye on you.
Yeah.
I'm going.
So I think it was last night I did it. It was I shared 5 tips to make 2021 better. And the first thing is a lot of around self-reflection, right? Like a lot of us have been in that mode, but here's the thing with self-reflection is, what are you going to do with the information that you have? Right? Like a lot of us know, you have to quit your job. You know that maybe you're not being a present parent. You know these things, but what are you doing with the information that you have? Right? So a lot of people are like, yeah, I know what I need to do, but it's the applied knowledge that you have once you do that deep work. And I think that's a big thing for a lot of people. How many, I mean, I know I've stayed in a job way longer than I should have, right? I knew that I should have left. I knew that maybe even my health was suffering as a result of the job. So I had the information. I did the self-work, but I didn't take action on it until much years later. So I think that's the thing for a lot of people. You know what you need to do. You just got to take action on that.
Yeah, and if I could just jump in again, take action is exactly where it is. We just talked about how Elon Musk has now become the richest man in the world. Although there are people who did lose their jobs, there are people who did suffer, monetarily and otherwise in 2020. We know that in our hearts and our thoughts are with them. There are people who actually became richer. There's actually people who took advantage of opportunities. We know the stock market took a nasty hit in March of 2020, and all those stocks that went down, they all went back up, and a lot of them are higher than they were even prior to March. Mm-hmm. And so, it was an opportunity again. So I say all that to say, take advantage of opportunities. If you have a dream, keep going. Yeah, there's a shift. Me as a professional speaker, who I love speaking to people in person, and it kills me when I have to do a virtual. However, the emails are coming in for virtual, right? So the business continues to go on. So yeah, we all have to shift based on the world that we're in, but there's still opportunities that are out there and new opportunities that are handed to us because of the situations that are in now. So you have a dream, you have a goal, keep chasing it, go after it, give yourself the rest that you need, but don't think that, because the world has shifted, you can't chase that thing that you're going after. You can't. 2021 is your year. Go after it.
I'll chime in here on a few things. Most of us have the reserve right now to be on the offensive, right? Most of us have the ability, right, to be on the offensive. And a lot of times, as many people get older, they find there are reasons and things that interfere them for them not being creative. You know, when I'm hanging around younger people and they say, I did this, I go, what the how the heck you do all of this? Because they're curious. Do not lose your curiosity. Curiosity fuels the imagination. These days, most great things start with either a laptop in a dream, a tablet in a dream, and a cell phone in a dream. That's how they start. And we've mentioned it, I think, a few times or one or two times tonight. If you don't know something, people, ask.
Yeah.
I really want to drive this home in 2021 to everyone who's watching or listening to this live or replay. A lot of people, what's holding them back is ask.
The information's out here.
Ask.
It's here. I mean, we have the biggest library in the world in your hands. Google, right? You have access to, you know, some of the biggest mentors in the world because they all have videos online. They all have
they're all hanging out, or they're hanging out on Clubhouse.
Right. So the information is out here. And I think for a lot of us, we just need to get clear about what we want.
Yeah.
In all areas of your life that matter. Why is it a must? Not why you should achieve it. Why it's a must. And then the how is going to come. We start with the how. And it's usually how I can't. Right? How I can't leave this job, how I can't start a business, how I can't get in shape, how I can't make more money. Well, if you start with the what is it that you want? See it crystal clear. And why is it a must? Then the how is going to come. So like Bob and Jeff are saying, you're going to meet the right people. You're going to go out there and find that information that you need. You're going to, you know, find someone to help you do your resume so that you can find another job. You're going to find that business person who started, you know, multi-million-dollar businesses who will be your mentor to teach you how to do the same thing. You're going to find a coworker who's in shape, who's going to say, hey, I'm going to work out with you so you can lose the weight and get in shape. So don't worry about the how, because it's always how you can, right? Just what do you want and why is it a must?
Right. Like Serena Wills is saying, ask in capital letters. As the old saying goes, a closed mouth doesn't get fed.
You said it. You said it, sister.
Facts. Facts.
Can't eat if your mouth's not open. You cannot eat.
No. Yeah, people. I'm just encouraging folks. The world needs each one of us. There is someone in the world that needs each one of us. Whether you're watching, whether you're sitting in your desk right now, or wherever you're driving, they need each one of you. That should be enough to help you move forward. And if you're not ready to move forward, I get that. I understand that. But remember, time never lost a fight.
Never.
Right? Right? There's too many I woulda, coulda, shoulda. I'm not going to live that life.
Well, nobody regret. No, I don't want regret. I don't want to regret not trying. Right. You know, and think about it. Imagine if that your favorite author never wrote that book. You know, your favorite TV show was never written, or movie, or, you know, that favorite actor never became an actor. Right. You wouldn't be able to benefit from those individuals. And so you can be that individual to somebody else. Right.
You got to ask. Like, hey, a perfect example. Man, listen, you know how much time it took me to ask these two bald head guys if they wanted this? And it was sitting. I said, you know what? Let me just ask them and do a little bit of digital arm turning, but ask them. But again, you know, just put it out there, because a no is a no at that time. It isn't a no forever. And plus, you have choices. Right? There isn't only games in town. There's Danny said out there, and also there's Google. Hey, if you want to learn something, you know the best university out there, folks? It's called YouTube.
YouTube University.
Yeah.
I attend there often.
Yeah. Oh, me too.
Always learning.
Right? So you don't be afraid, folks. If you don't know what to do, where to turn next, you got 3 guys here that want to see you win.
And there's nothing wrong with failing. Like you think Elon Musk never failed many times? You think Jeff Bezos never failed? Like, the most successful people in the world have failed many, many times, and that's why they're successful, right? Life isn't a report card. You don't need all A's. You don't need all B's. You can get an F sometimes, because that F is probably what you need as a wake-up call or a way to maneuver or get around things that have been holding you back anyway. So, when it comes to like taking action on your goals and your dreams, don't worry about failing. Don't worry about what other people have to say. You're in the game when they're in the bleachers, right? Why would you worry about someone who's in the stands when you're in the game? You're in the game when you make a decision to try something, to do something different, to take action on a goal that has been burning inside of you. And anyone who has something to say about it, tell them to stay up there in the bleachers because you're in the game.
Hey, they're not feeding you. They ain't paying your bills. They ain't paying your bills. And the hardest people in that situation is family. Believe me.
Oh yeah, true.
That's a whole other topic.
That's
a different topic for sure.
Your family and loved ones do not believe in your dreams. It's a whole other topic.
That's a whole other conversation. But I just say, people, don't quit. Persistence, perseverance. Danny said about fail. I always say failure is a moment. It's not a person.
Yeah, and I think it's an important lesson for some of us too. It's like you have to look at failure as a lesson. What have you learned from that? Like, I've had lots of businesses in the past and they've failed. And every time I would learn something different. I would say, okay, I can't do that again. That was the wrong way to do marketing. This was the wrong way. And then all of a sudden it all starts to come together, right? So I think that's what we need to focus on,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thomas Edison said when they asked him about failing 10,000 times and making the light bulb, he said it wasn't 10,000 failures. It was 10,000 ways to not do it so I can go back and try to do it again.
And that's what it is.
That's what it comes down to. Whether you fall down in a circumstance, you are learning in the process, you get back up and you keep moving. And it's going to get you closer to that dream, that goal that you have for yourself.
Right.
Yeah. One of the greatest things most of us get in life is opportunity. What do you do with it? Like someone told me a long time ago, there is someone out there in the universe that has the same gifts and talents that you have, but they're doing more with it. Yeah, that's all I gotta say. That's right. That's
great, man.
Right. And I always get those gotchas because I always remember that saying, hey, that person has got the same. What am I not? And most of the time is you're not doing the work.
Consistency.
Sorry.
It's all about consistency.
Sorry to say that. Like,
someone doesn't lose 100 pounds overweight overnight. It's consistency.
Perfect example. Look at Miss Trudy, your dear wife. Did she not have to work to lose that 30 pounds?
Of course she did. It's consistency, right? So I think that's the key for so many of us. You are where you are because of your thinking and your habits over time, right? Regardless of what it is, whether you're not where you want to be in terms of your career, your relationship, your finances, your mindset. It wasn't an overnight thing to get here. And it's not going to be an overnight thing to get out of it, but it's consistency. You don't get where you are overnight. So you just got to be consistent. Today, I'm going to do this, tomorrow, the next day, bit by bit. And I think that's what we have to look at for 2021. Now it's time about action. Everybody was looking forward to January 1st, 2021, where you woke up, nothing changed. It was just another day. Now you got to get to work. Get to work on those things that you've been talking about, how you're going to make this year better. Day after day. You only got to get 1% better every single day. Just 1% better. You got to do one more push-up than you did yesterday. You got to read one more sentence than you read in that book. Make one more phone call. That's it.
That's it.
Well, I think we close it off strong, gentlemen.
That was good. I like it.
I think so.
All right. So, final words. Who wants to go first?
Go ahead, Danny. Or you know what? Let's say Dr. Vibe. You've been leading this whole thing. We're gonna let you. We're gonna follow behind you.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. So, what's in my heart right now? Each week, ask yourself this question. Who did I help this week? because you can do it by yourself. And if you're trying to do it by yourself, you're going to miss out. And especially during these times where relationship is more important than ever, which it's always been important, but now it's amplified. Who did you help this week? And the other thing is, take 5 minutes each day and spend some time with yourself. What do you say when you talk to yourself? Or what do you say when you think about yourself? I want you to really look at that this year. You know, what do you think about yourself? What do you say about yourself? And how many people are you helping? Because in my mind, the biggest leaders are the big servers. Now, they don't serve everybody, but they serve, and do it with the right intent. And I'll stop on that.
All right, go ahead, Jeff.
Okay. I don't want to butcher the saying, but it says something along the lines of, you will never change until the pain of wanting to change is greater than the pain of remaining the same. And so as you step into your 2021, you know, people like to set resolutions, New Year's resolutions, and this year I'm going to do this. And if that's what it takes to change your heart and to get you to do the things that you need to do, then go ahead. But the truth is, it's not about the date. It's not about January 1st, because you went to bed on December 31st and you woke up January 1st and COVID is still here. And the racial unrest and the issues are still here. And the fact you might have that pain or whatever it is in your body, it's still here. What changes, what causes you to change is the pain of saying, I've had enough, like enough is enough, and I'm willing to make the change. You know, I put a post out a while ago saying in the span of the year of the planet, that the planet has been around, if you look at the span of the planet, the life of the planet and the life of us as human beings, it's 141 seconds. So we are alive for 141 seconds in comparison to the life of the planet. So you are given 141 seconds. What are you going to do with that? Are you going to sit back and say, okay, I'm going to wait till the pandemic is done so I can go out and start that business? If you do that, then you've lost some of that 141 seconds. The time to start acting is now, not because it's January, but because you are sick and tired of being sick and tired. And when you get to that point, that is when you decide to make change. Whatever it is that you want to do, you can jump into it now, create it now, invent it now, travel now, whatever it is you have to do, but you can do it now. Don't wait for the perfect opportunity. The perfect opportunity is right now, because you're breathing, you're alive, you have this moment. Take advantage of it. Make 2021 your year and create that thing that you want to create for yourself.
Yes, sir. I love that, bro.
Coach Stone.
Man, I don't even know what to say. You guys have blown it out of the water. I'll say this. There's a quote that says, the only thing that comes to those who wait is leftovers. That's by me. And
all right.
That's a tweetable quote right there.
There. Push.
And I say that because so often we think that we have to know all the answers before we get started. We have to have everything lined up. We have to, have the right things in place. And it's just not true, right? All you have is right now. And I always say this, and I say it because it's absolutely true. And it's probably one of the biggest lies that we've ever been told. And the lie is that all you got to do is believe in yourself to make your dreams come true. And that's a lie. All you got to do is get started. Progress equals belief. And so if you understand that, then you just got to get started. What is the thing that you want to do? What is the thing that has been in your heart and on your mind for, years? What is that thing? All you got to do is get started. And if you fail, then at least you tried, right? But I think for so many of us, it's, I got to wait till this. I got to wait. You don't have to wait. If 2020 has taught us anything, we've all lost a lot of friends. A lot of people are no longer here. You should understand that all you have is right now. And now is your time. So whatever it is, do research, make a phone call, read a book, jump online and learn something, connect with somebody, take a course, just do it. And, at least you can say that you tried. And so that's my message.
Nice.
Love it. Say that quote one more time, Danny.
The only thing that comes to those who wait is leftovers.
Woo.
And the extended version of that is, if you don't believe me, be the last one in line at a family cookout.
That's so true.
Oh, wow.
That is so true.
Serena Wills says, all you have is right now.
You got it. You got it.
Epic. Jeff, if people want to touch base with you, where can they do? Where can they go? How can they do?
Hit me up, Jeff A.D. Martin, or just straight Google that. Jeff A.D. Martin. You'll find me on social media. Hit me up. Love to continue the conversation. I'm definitely approachable and love speaking to people. So hit me up. Let me know. Let's talk. Let's have that conversation.
Coach Stone?
Well, just like Jeff A.D. Martin is the only person online with that name, just Google me at I am Danny Stone on every single platform. That's my website, I am Danny Stone. Respond on Instagram. Just send me a DM if you have any questions, you want to connect. I'm around.
Well, maybe I should be uniform with the other two gentlemen, say I am Dr. Vibe, but I don't have that online. But the best place to touch base with me is at the Dr. Vibe show. Just go Dr. Vibe. I'm Googleicious if you put in Dr. Vibe. So that's where you can catch me. I'd like to thank everyone who made this an epic conversation tonight. Natalia, Serena, Birdie, Kurt Walker, Jermaine Spence, and many others who watched us live on the replay. We appreciate it and don't take it for granted. We'd love if you have any comments. Probably the best place to say, you can email me or you can DM any of us online. We are really loving this, really enjoying this, and we have plans to amplify this. We ain't saying yet, but we got plans to amplify this. So we're looking forward to it. The last thing I will just say is, and Danny was on for this conversation a few weeks ago with D. Chanson Berry, which was an incredible, and doesn't matter what your background is, you need to watch that conversation. As I say, I don't usually promote the conversations I do. That one you need to do. And one of the things he said was that, and I'm paraphrasing what he said, is that the weight of the spirit will always overcome the weight of the body. I've never forgotten that. Never forgotten that. So as we like to say, Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe show, the home of epic conversations. And the 2020 Podcast News Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. 2018 Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. Once a month, I host a conversation for I keep on getting that, dads and fathers. That is sponsored, the only one in the world, sponsored by Dove Men Care, and also co-sponsored by Dad Central, Canada's National Fatherhood Organization. As always, I close out with this: live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller to get stronger. Block assumptions and aim bigger, aim better, aim higher and wider. We'll be back real quick because you guys want us back. And remember, love, faith, and respect. Good night, everybody. God bless.